Welcome back, everyone. This is the DomainSherpa Review After Show, where we discuss anything on the minds of our panel, including news in the industry, recent deals we've done, questions from the audience. That's where we're going to start. Paul H. asked on last week's show, quote, I have a question which relates to the sale of one of the popular names, unplugged.com. The Sherpas talked about finding an end user for unplugged.com in the plumbing niche. I'm assuming that to get top dollar for this domain, it would need to be sold to one of the bigger companies, but they already have their established name and brand and domain name. How do you convince an established name brand to move to another brand, as clever as it might be in the case of unplugged.com? Or in this case, will the money only come from a new player in the market who can see the value in this name? What do you guys think?
I'm going to say this as politically correct as possible. Generally, the plumbing market is not that internet savvy, and a lot of them don't have their own domain names, but they're big companies. So there's still plenty of big companies out there in the yellow pages that don't have, or national, probably not national, but there's still big companies out there that don't have websites. Go after one of them.
Mm-hmm. All right. Do you guys agree with that?
I'd say that we're still in the frontier, and there is no thing that's going to happen. Like if you call the VP of marketing, they're going to say yes, but if you call the VP of finance, they're going to say no. I mean, you really just have to go out there and see what works and see if it works. But there's no guarantee that someone has to buy that name from you. You just have to try, your best every day.
I don't see it as a plot. I mean, I think you're limiting, yourself to think of it as a plumbing name. I think it applies to it. It's one of these, again, I talked about T-Box last week, going into a tech company that has nothing to do with T at all. So I think it's, it's a cool name. It definitely bring, thoughts of music, to me. I mean, unplugged versions of songs. So I think, if you're like picking an industry on a name, if it was plumbing.com, well, okay. If it's not plumbing.com, it's something that it could go in a lot of different directions and may be not in an obvious direction. So, maybe, sort of undercutting yourself if you're restricting a name that is broader.
Yeah. Rick, you were going to say something also?
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with what Mike said, and because plumbing wouldn't be my first choice, and especially if you're looking for the big bucks. If you're looking for the big bucks, you're looking for someone that wants it. Unplugged is like off the hook, okay? Excuse me. So you want someone that's using it in a completely different way, not on a plumber. Unplugged means, like I said, off the hook. So if you were to come out with some kind of whatever, unplugged, that it's a term, or just being off the grid maybe. I mean, there's different ways to approach it. And I don't think plumbing gets you the most amount of money. I think as a brandable, it could be just, hang up your Facebook and, just get unplugged and unwind and relax. It could be, that's what unplugged is. It could be a travel site, unplugged, get away. So I think they're much higher and better uses than plumbing.
Yeah. All right. Look to alternate industries. Rajesh Duggal submitted pizzeriapinocchio.com. I don't know if you guys remember that. One or more of the Sherpas recommended that he drop it. I didn't go back to look how many. He said that he bought it primarily based on the Google search returning 152,000 results in their index. So you type in pizza space Pinocchio, it had 152,000 results in their index. That's why he bought it. Do you guys think he should still drop it?
I wouldn't buy it for that reason. Because, look, when you do that, sometimes you don't know if they're measuring pizza, they're measuring Pinocchio, they're measuring pizza Pinocchio. I mean, you got to be careful when you do that. So, I mean, if you like the domain or you think it's a brandable thing for a place, that's one thing. If you like it, keep it. But on the other side, you can always have Walt Disney go after you. Just even whether they have a leg to stand on or not, when it comes to Pinocchio, Walt Disney thinks they have a leg to stand on, and that's more important because you can't go up against them. It's pretty hard.
Yeah. It looks like a chain. I typed it in with quotes just now, and there's a ton of TripAdvisor and Yelp listings. It looks like it might be a chain called Pizza Pinocchio in different locations.
Yeah, so I was going to say, if you're going to do the Google thing at all, you got to do it in quotes to get the exact term in exact order. Otherwise, you're really just getting, garbage back. So there's 9,800 results within quotes, and it does seem to be a chain. So going to Rick's point, I mean, it's not only that Disney could sue you, it's this actual chain could sue you as well. If they may or may not have a trademark, even if they don't have a trademark, there seems to be a few of them at least, and if they've been in business for a while, they certainly, have a case to at least assert a common law trademark, since it's a pretty, unusual name.
Well,
I mean,
it's unique that Pinocchio on his journey went through a city called Catch Fools, and maybe this was a catch that shouldn't have been picked up, because I certainly wouldn't pick it up, regardless of what it said in Google.
All right. Paige, any parting thoughts?
Probably, as these guys said, the number one reason not to buy a name. It's the type of name that we would get those emails that say, hey, this name is coming available for sale, and you ask yourself why it was ever registered in the first place. Again, the last thing, even with quotes, you got to be careful on Google because they don't see a period or a comma. So if you have two words that happen to appear a lot together, like this could be pizza at the end of a sentence and then Pinocchio at the beginning, a lot of stuff like that. So again, it just gets back to every name being unique. And there's no stat that you're always going to be able to just say, I have this stat, I spent this money, where's my return? And it still gets down to the name. We just don't have those automatic places that are just sitting out there where you just make money because of this. Because if that were true, everyone would have done them already. So anyway.
I mean, so if you do Google it, and if you do do it, and you do put it in quotes, and you Google it, and you get, the first page results are all about, the exact, of a restaurant or several restaurants that exist with that name, and there's nothing generic about it, then it's probably not, it's probably more risky than it's worth.
Yeah. Good advice. Anita submitted resuggest.com as she thought it would make a great social sharing service like Pinterest or Dig, where a user could resuggest a link. Do you guys think that social sharing sites are too numerous, or is it worth keeping this domain name?
I mean, I don't think it's an issue of whether there's a too numerous number of social networking sites or those types of sites. I don't think I like the name. I don't think I like the name.
Okay.
I think the one thing you have to remember with brandables, if you're
It
only
would be better if it was
registering
just
one or two,
suggest.
is that you're in comparison with every other possible brandable name for the business purpose that's being used. So resuggest, even though it may have some great attributes that someone may like, you need to make sure that re-notify, re-forward, re-like, all the other synonyms with re are taken for them to ever want to say we have to have yours. So there's great upside to brandables, but you're also competing against every other brandable possibility for that business.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Adam, on your list that we reviewed at the top of the Domain Sherpa review, you said thornhill.ca was purchased. You bought it for $1,850, and you already had an offer for $50,000. Do I have my facts right on that?
That's correct.
How did you get an offer for $50,000 just within 1 to 2 weeks of buying it?
It's called outbound marketing. I mean, there's lots of companies that want to be known as the main company in Thornhill, so it's very easy to get a decent. It's a big city and it's got huge commercial areas, and it's growing. It's a very high-end, expensive part of the city to live in, and it's got, like I said, a commercial area as well.
Did
it's a
you
business.
do outbound marketing via email?
I did, and then follow up with phone calls.
And what industry?
I'm not going to sell it, by the way.
You're not. What
No.
industries did you reach out to? How did you determine who you were going to go after?
Well, I tend to go after industries that have money. This was an automotive dealership. So, I mean, you tend to go after industries where they make a lot of money, and $50,000 to them is probably what they make on about 4 or 5 cars. So for them, it's a worthwhile business investment long term. I would have stuck to automotive, real estate, something where I know they have good traction and will make money long term. I wouldn't have gone to like a mom and pop cookie shop or muffin shop.
Why not $50,000? You bought it for $1,850 in 2 weeks. That's a pretty good return on your investment.
The bottom line is I can afford to wait, and I don't need the 50,000 right now, and I think it's going to be worth a lot more down the road. And remember, everybody goes to thornhill.ca because all the government sites are .ca. There's very few big .cas available there at the government sites. So I want that, and I want the traffic. And after I do some experimentation, then I'll make a decision. For now, I'll just put it off. I won't decline it, but I'll tell them I just got it. I'm not doing anything for 2 or 3 months, so bugger off.
All right. Good luck with that. Rick, any reconsideration on your AOL email account?
Well, I actually activated a few this week. I have rick@topsecret.com. I have rick@rick.me. And I have rick@targetedtraffic.com. How's that? Plus, I do have Domain King at Gmail. That's I use quite often as well.
So do you, is that like your domain name purchasing? You're just going to buy them all and then evaluate them later? Or are you just going to activate all these emails and see which one, you like within the year?
I need some guidance, I mean, I don't know which one to use. I kind of like the top secret one. That's pretty cool. And
how come you didn't like rick@domainking.com?
Well, a couple of people said that may be a little arrogant or whatever, or putting off, so I thought maybe not so good. I think maybe it was that Berkens that said that.
I don't remember.
It was me as well, but I think Top Secret's a good one. I mean,
I like Top Secret.
I think it's a good one. It's a brandable, it's a good name, and it's a cool email address.
Is that website developed out, Top Secret?
Well, you'll see what's there when you go there. That's one of my secret projects.
I'm going. It is. It should have like you should just put an input box, like there's a password or something, but not make it go anywhere. That would be funny.
I can't believe you're not using rick@porno.com.
Well, first of all, I own stud.com, so I could be rick@stud.com. And Adam, I'll sell you an email for Adam. Matter of fact, I'll sell you all guys' emails. That's not a bad business. Stud.com would probably be a really good email address for people. What do you think?
I think I'd take it. I think it'd be a good one just for laughs. I'd give it to my sister or something.
I think all of the emails from stud.com and porno.com would probably go straight to a spam filter.
As a matter of fact, we could give them all stud.com and assholes.com for people they hate.
Actually, Rick, I hate to tell you, but I filed a UDRP against you on that name. Because I've trademarked it.
Because I am.
Common law, baby.
I think DiCaprio is going after me for it. He says, "Hey, I'm the stud."
Hey, Adam, you've got 4dprinter.net. And you've got you wanted to get an appraisal from the other Sherpas because you have an offer on it? Is that the case?
That's right. That's correct.
So I can't remember. You didn't say the offer value, did you?
No.
All right.
I said that. I'll say nothing. Go ahead.
So let's go around. Mike Berkens, 4dprinter.net. What do you think the retail value should be?
You have to explain to me what the fourth dimension for a printer would be, because I know in the 4D, I've seen some 4D movies, and that involves motion where the seat moves, and that's what I've heard 4D theaters refer to. So what occurs in a 4D printer? What's the extra D?
I'm just checking. 4D printing is fairly slippery, but it says here, fourth dimension represents change. 4D simply refers to printers that create objects that can transform over time and in some cases self-assemble. So there's a lot. I'm reading an article on Gizmo and Gizmodo about it, and there's quite a few articles. So
didn't 3dprinter.net sell fairly recently?
I don't know. Maybe it's the same guy that wants it.
Maybe.
I will have to check that.
3dprinter.net, you think sold, Mike?
I think so. I thought it did.
Let me go to namebio.com and type it in.
That'll be interesting.
Printer.
Does
see what comes up.
3D.
3D. I don't see it. 3dprinterpro.com just sold for $1,500.
About printing, maybe. I don't know. That's 3D.
I'd sell.
Let me type in 3D print. 3D printing. You're right, Mike. Just sold $25,500 in 2011.
Okay, that's not just sold.
No,
yeah, that's not just sold,
old.
right? That's old.
Okay,
so
I don't know. I mean, yeah, go ahead. I don't know. $5,000 for the net. I don't know.
Paige, what do you think? Retail value.
I think, and I've been in this position where you're so early that if you can get 5 to 10,000 for the .net now, the trajectory, it's like buying Bitcoin at 100 and having it be at 700 and saying, even if it works, is it really going to be at 7,000? So, depending on what your internal rate of return is on the rest of your assets, obviously, if you're like, hey, I don't need to sell anything, you can wait and feel it. But I just feel like you've made such a big move from where you bought it to where it is now. Just in the whole portfolio approach, might be time to ring the register because you may not get that constant rate of return from here into the future.
By the way,
so what's the amount, Paige? What's the amount?
I was right, by the way.
Anything 5 to 10, I would take.
I was right about the other sale, though, before you want to give a pick. The 3dprinter.net did sell, and it was in November on CDU, and it was $60,000. 3dprinter.net.
And 3dprinter.net sold for $60,000?
Well, that changes things.
Wow.
November 27th. I thought I saw it.
That changes things.
And
Which way, Adam?
And 3D,
I'll let you guys finish. We haven't heard from Ricky.
3D printer before, and just recently, even more recently, in 2014, 3dprinter.io just sold. So that's real recent, and that sold for more than the $5,000 we were just advising Adam. So that's sold for $76.50. 3dprinter.io.
$7,650.
So do you guys want to revisit your quotes, Mike?
Well, yeah, Mike now says, what do you say, Mike?
I would say, no. So I would say now you're into like the 25-ish area.
Okay.
Because it doesn't exist yet.
Hey, Mike, where did you find 3dprinter.net and 3dprinter.io values? I went to
There's one of those tools he can't tell you.
I actually can tell you because they're a sponsor of Mike's. So, I mean, Estabot.
You went to Estabot and typed it in, and it showed you the sales of it. 3dprinter.net. All right. Don't mute that.
All right, Paige, while he's looking at that.
Yeah, so the Estabot value is $62,000, and it shows you that it just sold.
I think if the net sold for 60 and you can get 10 now for something that doesn't exist, and the 3D printing exists now and it's only worth 60, so you're talking maybe being able to make 10 to 60 in 3 years. If this technology takes off, I'd sell it now for 10.
Okay.
Or better.
Rick.
Well, the first question I would want to know is who's interested, and why are they interested?
So I got it through Afternic.
So you don't know?
No, I don't know.
Well, you know what? I always go high, and it can always come down. But if the 3D was 60 grand, I would probably divide by 3, and probably around, I would say somewhere in the 15 to 20 grand category would probably be a sale that could be obtained. And, then again, you can hold out and you never know. Well, listen, if it was a .com, it would be a different strategy.
Right.
So being that it's a .net, I would, first of all, A, probably take what you can get. B, I would say if you're anywhere between 10 and 20 that you grab it. If you're anywhere over that, you have to grab it. And if you're under that, then it's up to you.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
All right. So what was the offer that you got, Adam?
So I'll give you what I paid for it first. I think I bought it a few years ago. I paid $10. It was a reg for it. I got a whole bunch of them at the time. So I got, anyway, the offer, I put it out at 25. He came back at 8 max, and that's where it sits right now.
Yeah, so I don't know why I didn't go to Estabot and look it up, Mike. That's a great point. So, just goes to show that you can't just trust one source, because even though they all say that they have all the data, you should check a couple of places. I did type in 4dprinter.net into Estabot, and I see your $25,000 asking price there, Adam, but there's no 4D comparison sales under the related.
The main thing I want to get across from this is not the 4D printer sale. It's the fact that even today, it's still extremely beneficial before you buy or sell to go to a group of your peers and get a fairly good head shake to know whether you're in the ballpark or whether you're being an idiot.
Yep.
And this is really helpful as far as that goes. I've done it my whole domaining career, and it's good for people that are starting out to do that as well all the time.
Definitely. Adam, last topic of the day. You had a brandable that you saw recently that you wanted to discuss.
I did. So I'll give you some examples. There's some names dropping today. that made. First, I'll talk about some that don't make sense, then I'll talk about some that do. So there was sexymortgages.ca, and I thought, what kind of two stupid terms is that don't make any sense? Then there was sexy moms. At least that makes somewhat sense. But the one that I liked that I picked up two that, I haven't picked it up. So the company I saw on TV, we all know about Sleepless in Seattle, the movie. So their TV commercial is Depressed in Seattle, and it's for a psychiatrist / company that deals with depression. I thought it was cool, and I remembered it instantly, and right away it triggered the movie. So I thought that was good. Depressed in Seattle. And another domain that I liked, instead of brainstorming, it's brandstorming for a marketing company or social company. I think that's a cool name, and that's what I was looking for with brandables last week. Depressed in Seattle, brandstorming. They're good names, and you can build around it, and people are going to remember those things.
Yeah, I like brandstorming too.
And one last point about your booze cruise. I don't know if you've noticed this week, but like 600 people got sick from a virus on a cruise ship, the NORAD virus or whatever it is. You may want to pay attention to that before you put everybody on a cruise, because domainers don't have the best of lucks with viruses.
That's only at the Playboy Mansion.
And then I have one more quick point. That Chip Mead guy who puts out the fresh available domain names, and you can register and pay him $2 a name. His address for anybody that wants it is admin@freshavails.com. So, and he's a good guy. He doesn't. It's a good plug for him because he does a good service. He's been doing it for years.
Excellent. All right, gentlemen.
I think it's also healthy. I think his service is also healthy to look at his names and ask yourself, in your mind, would you think all those would be taken? And it gives you a real accurate sense of the market, of what is being dropped and kind of making it through. And there's some other newsletters the same way that help you gauge the market, I think. So.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just look at his list and do this all day. Registered, available, registered, to see which ones I pick.
All right, guys. Thanks for another great show. We'll see you all next week. Have a great week.
See y'all.
Guys.
Take care, Michael.
Bye-bye.